Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Today, we draft preseason Vikings fantasy teams. Yes, sir.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. I'm excited to engage with the worst take you've ever seen.
I'm Arif Hassan with Pro Football Network, and Luke Inman reminded me that over the last 7 polls, we've needed to stop the count.
Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. I just watched the Vikings golf scramble up on VEN, and it made me wonder, who would win a scramble between the two Lukes versus Sam and Arif? Check the Vegas odds on that.
That video has to be coming soon. Has to.
Absolutely not.
It's the Minnesota Football Party.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Pro Football Network's Arif Hassan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talk's Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Thanks for being here on a Thursday. It's the Minnesota Football Party on Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's Vikings talk for the next hour. I'm Sam Ekstrom, part of the Ron Johnson Show, Minnesota Sports Rankum, and the Minnesota Football Party. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. He's the author of the NFL Draft Buzz newsletter. Subscribe for free, lockedonpodcast.com/newsletters. Joined by the esteemed Arif Hassan. He's at Arif Hassan NFL. Pro Football Network, and Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings, and the Locked On Vikings postcast. Only a couple months, Luke, till we'll be doing the postcast again. He's at Luke Braun NFL on Twitter. Arif, clearly not a golfer, wants to golf with us. I think that's he's denying it, but he wants to go on the golf course with us.
Arif, wait, no, let's be clear. I do want to go on the golf course with you. I don't want to golf. If that's clear. I want to ruin golf courses.
Got it.
I want to make sure you guys have as worst time as possible.
Yes. Yeah. I want to make.
There is a lot of people who like
on the greens,
hopping in the cart,
right,
driving the golf cart around, and just being outside for hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds
like
up,
fun.
Arif.
Yeah. Plus, I can't think of any better environmental activism I could do than to demolish golf courses.
It's also a great place to day drink. Really acceptable to day.
Oh yeah,
best.
Exactly. Yeah,
the best.
Today's show brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On. Make every moment more and go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. On today's show, we draft preseason fantasy teams for the Vikings. This could get interesting. Also, Christian Watson with more potential than Justin Jefferson. We might have to get into that right away because that was a take spouted by a Packers talking head on Twitter. And I want to revisit a Luke Inman question from Tuesday. Which Vikings running back will have the most all-purpose yards this year? All that, plus Ron Johnson, coming up on today's show. Luke Braun, you wanted to engage with the worst take you've ever seen on Twitter. I assume that's Christian Watson, Justin Jefferson. Would you like to kick us off?
That whole thing has been the most brain-dead conversation I think I've ever seen.
Bit.
It's such a good bit. So the original Bruce Irons take isn't that, it's pretty lukewarm once you actually take it down to its studs. All he's saying basically is that Christian Watson has a higher RAS. And that's kind of it. Once you really interrogate it, the first thing he said was I'm not saying Christian Watson is better than Justin Jefferson, and then he proceeded to argue about it for 2 days, which is objectively hilarious. And no, we are not laughing with you, buddy.
Yeah, so I do want to say you are helping him by giving him the best possible interpretation of that first tweet, because what he is intending to get across is that Watson had a higher RAS, tests better as an athlete, probably is a better athlete, right? That's what he's intending to get across. But the phrase he used was higher ceiling, which is not what that means. That's what he intended it to mean. But higher ceiling just means has the
If
best
only we lived in the
capacity to
world where
produce
higher
the
ceiling
most.
wasn't just RAS.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. But I mean, like, think about it though, because we talk about quarterbacks and ceilings, right? We're not necessarily talking about the most athletic quarterback, although in this last year's draft, yes, we were. But very often we're talking about like arm strength, right? The highest ceiling in this draft belongs to the guy. Like Ryan Leaf had a higher ceiling than Peyton Manning. They were both garbage athletes, right? But Ryan Leaf had a much better arm. So, higher ceiling is if everything goes right on the development path, this guy is better than this guy. If everybody develops to their maximum potential, this guy's better. That's what higher ceiling means. But the problem is we don't think about it like that. We just think about the component parts to what contributes to a ceiling, in this case, athleticism. But the problem is, what is a wide receiver ceiling? It is probably 2,000 receiving yards. Who has a higher, in that context, right? Who has a higher ceiling? Right? Like if we think about ceiling.
Who is more likely to reach 2,000 receiving yards?
Right. Yeah. Who in their development path, if everything goes right from here on out, is more likely to reach 2,000 yards? I think it's the guy who reached 1,800 yards.
To be perfectly fair, Christian Watson doesn't have a serious quarterback. So
Reed's right. Like, if only the best athletes turned out to be the best football players, then the draft would be easy and boring every year. You just take the Raz freaks, the combine workout warriors, and they'd all be Hall of Famers. But to Reed's point, there's so much more than the physical portion of becoming a great football player. For receivers, it's the route running, the mental aspect, being able to digest a playbook, read NFL defenses, understanding the proper timing and technique, understanding your opponent through film, their tendencies to give you, just the slightest edge. That's all work ethic, though. That has nothing to do with the physical stuff, the RAS scores, putting in the time off the field, away from the weight room, and having just that good football awareness and IQ. Nothing to do with the athletic portion of the game. And, I look at those two players. There's a reason one of them played at LSU with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, won a national championship. The other one played at NDSU because one was a far better football player in high school and got more scholarships, got more offers. Now, who is the better athlete? I guess, is that what he was trying to say? I don't know, Sam. It feels like we hit the summer abyss, as you like to call it. And I just kind of rolled at this one. Entertaining, I guess, sure, for a couple minutes. But
it was so fun. Creating Joe Webb comps, Stephen Hill comps. That was great. You want to talk about
it's a great remember a guy prompt. Hey, remember a guy
Johnson
that has
is
the
the next
highest
Joe Webb,
ceiling
I've been
ever.
Hey, wait, did you say Charles Johnson? Because I was just about to bring up Charles
No,
Johnson.
I said Cephas Johnson is the next Joe Webb, I've been told.
Yeah.
Undrafted wide receiver quarterback hybrid, Cephas Johnson, scout team lock.
Scout team lock.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. But yeah, Charles Johnson, both a Packer and a Viking.
That's right.
Charles Johnson.
Yeah.
Enormous ceiling.
It started out as a great story of poaching a Packer and making him good.
Honestly, if he had never been given the expectation of being a starter, that would have been fun. That would have been a nice couple of years.
Yeah.
Instead, he just needed to dominate the AAF for a little bit.
Yeah. We love Charles Johnson on this network,
fun too.
Friend Orlando Sentinel,
Ron Johnson,
Apollo, Orlando Apollo legend.
Yeah, he's an Orlando Apollo.
I feel like
what is this? Go ahead.
Everybody agrees with what Luke said. Everybody knows that there's more to this than just raw testable athleticism. And if you ask anybody hey, raw testable athleticism, is that the only thing to football? People are like, what? No, of course not. But then you see a take like this, and it's how much discipline do you have to be able to read that and then not engage with it for 2 days? Ask yourself, look in the mirror and be like, am I really going to do this? Spend this much time on it? And then what kills me is the Packers fans in the replies who just are unironically no, Christian Watson will be better than Justin Jefferson. That one
was rough.
No, the guys who with the straight face are like, I get it.
That need to be
I
put
get
out
where you're
to
coming
pasture.
from. I can see it.
Those people need to go away for a little
nap.
while and then come back with a clear head.
I'm proud of myself for having not interacted with that for about a day and a half before I started making Joe Webb jokes.
That's pretty good. 36
the
hours.
temptation after a while it builds. It's like making an alcoholic be a bartender for 3 days. It's by day 3 you're struggling. It's
There's two things that are hysterical to me about this. First of all, that Bruce Irons says Watson has no physical limitations and showed big playability in limited time coming off an injury. He has no
Right.
physical limitation.
I
but
almost
he's coming
tweeted
off
that
an
one
injury.
too, right? I was like, hold up.
Hold up.
What?
This is like a self-contained comedy sketch. I don't need the other tweets in this thread. This one rules.
And secondly, posting the RAS comparison with Justin Jefferson, also like a sea of green, 9.68, and he's arguing that Watson's 9.96, while better, is dramatically going to change his ceiling than a 9.68.
RAS has
10
some
touchdowns
issues with linear grading, so like that's part of it too. Yet 9 touchdowns, excuse me, Luke. But
sorry, Jefferson's 10 touchdowns, which
Jefferson's
is his high,
10
but
touchdowns.
Christian
Right,
Watson's 9 somehow is better because it was his rookie year.
Yeah, it's good. That's going to be his low, right? He's gonna. But yeah,
Right.
I think
Hey, maybe he'll play a full season.
To both of Luke's points about ceilings, that like obviously it's more than athleticism. The problem is if we were to break down all of the things that contribute towards a player's success, right? You know, whether it's being fast, being physical, being big, having good hand-eye coordination, running routes correctly, being precise, studying film, having good football IQ, being able to learn very quickly, having good body control, all of those things, right? The thing that is measurable, that is quantifiable, is the athleticism, right? But all of those things are component parts to our ceiling. Now, route running is a skill, so you can develop it, but the thing that underlies that skill might be part of your ceiling as a conversation. But we don't talk very much about stuff like body control as part of a component part of a ceiling, right? Like body control might be as modifiable as speed. Yeah, you can work out to get faster. 100% you can. People do it every year. But there's a limit, right? A limit in a way that we don't think is necessarily true, although I don't know if that's actually the case, but we don't think of as necessarily true when it comes to the mental aspects of the game, right? You just work harder, right? Which is, again, not really how it works, but how we think of it. But like body control, again, you can work on it, but that is going to be one of the things that caps how good you are. And I don't know if there are many other receivers, if any, who have better body control than Justin Jefferson. That is a huge component part to his ceiling, right? And we could talk about other, like the cognition stuff. Do you remember that Alec Lewis story at The Athletic, you know, a couple of weeks ago? I think it was actually right before the draft, so maybe a couple of weeks ago is incorrect. But that looked into the S2 cognition test a little bit, but specifically looked into how Justin Jefferson did with the analytics department at LSU. He's one of the few people on the planet that is not eye dominant and can engage in either eye dominant tracking, which means that most players, most people, when they look a ball in as they're catching the ball, you know, will be tracking it with their right eye or with their left eye. They'll be eye dominant in some way, right? And so you'll have an easier job looking over your left shoulder than your right shoulder based off of your eye dominance to track that ball. And you'll be able to deal with obstacles in different ways if somebody's covering up your left side versus your right side. Justin Jefferson does not have that limitation.
Insane.
It is a 1 in 10, and this is in the story. This is like a 1 in 10,000, if not rarer, trait that he has, right? How is that not part of your ceiling? 100% that's part of your ceiling. But we don't have everyone's eye dominance scores, so we can't talk about it. Right. So, like, these are like the way we talk about ceiling is a little bit broken because I think potential is a really important part of draft conversation because we don't know what everyone's development path will be, but knowing where they would be if they develop in an ideal condition is a really useful piece of information to have in the draft. But the problem is we don't have all of the elements that tell us, hey, this guy can process information a little bit faster. Hey, this guy can look at a ball with either eye with the same amount of control and frequency. Hey, this guy has much better body control. Those are all really important component parts to your ceiling that are really difficult to improve, but are not part of the RAS.
I'm eager for ED to become shorthand for eye dominance in the pre-draft process. I think that'll be a good one. Also,
Sam,
I
have
think
you thought about that one for a second? Yeah,
we could workshop that. I think.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
I know exactly what I said, Arif.
Hey Sam, just real quick. Bring it in.
I'm just looking forward.
Do we get a new sponsor, Sam?
I'm looking forward to hearing
like a
Blue
of some kind or a pill.
I'm looking forward to Jordan Reed and Mel Kiper spouting, you know, the benefits of ED and why some guys don't have it. I also think that Christian Watson is more likely to be rookie year Cordero Patterson than Justin Jefferson. Like an unsustainable amount of giant plays. Does that sound familiar for like a raw wide receiver prospect? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but you can't take rookie year Cordero Patterson away from me. I will always cherish that.
Fair enough. Let's draft Vikings preseason fantasy teams after I tell folks about FanDuel, the official partner of this show, official partner with Locked On. You can bet Major League Baseball there all summer, including the Twins, minus 154 money line this afternoon against the Boston Red Sox. Joe Ryan on the mound. Run line sits at 9. Bet that and all the Major League Baseball games at FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets with a no-sweat first bet, up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win, check it out at FanDuel.com/LockedOn today. FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment more. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. All right, guys, here's the game. We are drafting Vikings preseason fantasy teams. Now, I want you all to agree on the rules because I don't like to sort of bully my way in here with all these rules because you guys always fight me anyway. So let's talk about it.
That's half the fun. What? Come on.
So I'll throw this out. I'll throw this out here, Sam. So standard fantasy football scoring, just like standard ESPN scoring. Do we want to do PPR?
I think we should do
half point
PPR.
PPR,
half point
yes.
or
Full
full point
PPR.
PPR. Okay.
No position bonuses. So
no
it's just-
position bonuses, just
PPR.
standard across the board, full point PPR.
And
I'm
remember,
gonna
there's
throw
no quarterbacks. So
No
there is
quarterbacks.
no quarterbacks.
there's no
Okay.
quarterbacks.
There's not enough quarterbacks, and Cousins probably won't play. So
That
there
would
would
not
not be
really
more
fun,
than
though.
two.
I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
How about I'm going to throw this out there. I've never done this in fantasy, but it looks intriguing in this exercise. How about one defensive player?
Well, then we'd have to decide on defensive points and every.
Well, I think we just do 1
system-
point for a tackle, 2 for a sack, 2 for an interception, 1 for a forced fumble or fumble recovery, or 2 if you want. But it's pretty much just a tackle.
I'm negotiating so much of this already.
Are there websites, Luke, where we can check to see what the standard is for a defensive player's
But there
fantasy
is-
points?
Yeah,
There's no-
ESPN has the standard. Again,
Okay.
I think it's pretty across the board. 1 point for a tackle, 2 for a sack or an interception. It's either
One for
or
a forced
2 for a
fumble and one
fumble.
for a fumble recovery.
Yeah, yep.
All right, let's
2
vote
points
on
for a
it. I
safety,
vote
2
yes.
points for a touchdown.
I'm
Yeah,
in.
fine. Let's just use ESPN's IDP scoring.
All right, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll make the format worse, so I'm in.
Based on roster
Right.
spots as they are now, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 defensive player. Does that sound good to everybody?
One running
Yeah.
back.
All right. Sounds good. Now, going in order of our last draft, the winner of that draft was, I believe, Braun. Braun, you took Diggs in the all former Vikings draft, right?
I think I did.
Oh, that was
Nope,
you, Luke. You got
yeah.
you had Keenum, Abdullah. Okay. Luke won that going away. Second pick goes to me. I edged out Arif with his Case Cookis team. Luke Braun, you got greased. You got absolutely blown out in this draft. People were hating on Heineke,
Shouldn't have
Boone,
done
Thielen.
Yep. The Heineke
How did
pick
you,
was a
how
big
did you
mistake.
get cookist? That's crazy.
I got cookist. I got
How did
case
you get
cooked.
cookist?
Over 1,400 votes, and Luke Braun got 5%.
Like Inman's
Yeah.
team has players currently in the NFL. I think the only guy I have in the NFL is Cordero.
And you almost got second.
It's like how many presidential votes? It's like losing the
Right.
presidential election to Homer Simpson. It's
Yeah, right.
That's good.
I don't have to worry about safety. I'm Homer Simpson.
Oh, that's good.
I overthought
So,
it.
Inman, you will
overthought it.
start.
I think I got to go running back first. I think the preseason, just in general, kind of dominated more by running backs. And what's crazy about the Vikings roster, there's no like AJ Rose, right? This 5th running back, or Rock Thomas. So I'm going to go with Dwayne McBride as the number 1 pick. I think he's going to get a lot of touches.
Do we have a spreadsheet? I don't think you emailed us a spreadsheet.
No, I said before we started that you'll just have to look at the roster.
Well, yeah, but to eliminate people, know who's on my team. Just saying. It's good to keep track.
Just saying.
Yeah, I think you can handle it. I'm next. Obviously going either Chandler or Wongwu. I think Chandler's got to be the pick, unless they are preserving him which is the big calculation here, right? Like starters are very much off limits with this.
What's a
this,
starter?
this is
Yeah.
this is another example of us having to, because you're never going to negotiate all the rules out beforehand. I assume Wangwu will get points if he scores on a kickoff or punt return touchdown, but not any points for yardage.
Correct. That's standard.
I'm just saying. Sometimes
Nope, that's good. That's good to clarify that. Yeah, 6 points if he ends up taking one to the house, but those all-purpose yards don't count.
Your pick,
Special
then, Reeve.
teams yards.
Well, this is kind of dumb, isn't it?
Well, this is just dumb.
Yeah, this is stupid.
This entire exercise is dumb, which is why we're doing it.
I know. I just like after the two running backs, it's like, oh god, the world is my oyster, and I don't appreciate it.
Sam left Nick Muse for you. Just left a gift,
tough
a
spot.
Nick Muse sitting right on the board there.
Nick, come on. Screw it. The running
cat out of
back
the
thing
bag
is
there.
whatever at this point. I'm going to take Jalen Naylor.
Yeah, good pick.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
can't fault
I
you
didn't
for
get
that.
stuck. I didn't get stuck with Alexander Madison. I'll take that.
I
will
was
take-
considering Madison, honestly. I was just like,
I mean, it's just that he's just like not gonna play except maybe in like one of the games.
Right.
maybe.
Like, there's no shot.
Who knows?
He didn't play. He didn't play last year as RB2. He wasn't active. So I'll slam Kene Nwangwu, and I'm also gonna. I'm sorry, Sam. I got to do this to you. I'm gonna take Tristan Jackson. I think there's gonna be a lot of volume
Yeah.
for him in the second.
No.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Good pick. Arif, back to you.
So I can just ignore running back now.
Yep. 0 RB, baby.
Yeah.
Zach Ogile is eligible.
Oh my god. No, that's not happening.
1 yard plunge.
Yeah.
1 yard touchdown vulture.
You could get a fullback touchdown, maybe more likely than
Then
getting
Alexander Madison.
than Madison amassing 6 points.
I just, the problem is I have no idea if Josh Oliver is going to play. No idea, right? Hawkinson
That's a
almost
tough
certainly
one.
won't play, right? Johnny Munt almost certainly will play, but Josh Oliver is in this like weird zone.
Right on the fence. Yep.
I am going to go. I'm going to go with Johnny Munt. I see him playing every preseason game,
It's a good pick.
and I've left Nick Muse.
You have. I'm torn between Nick Muse and Ben Sims. I think Nick Muse, though, is the play. I think Ben Sims is not quite the pass-catching tight end that I want him to be. Nick Muse is my guy. Muse. And on to Inman.
On to Inman. I just might go receiver, bang, bang right here. And because I can't pick who's going to win this punt job, why don't I just pick both of them? Jalen Reagor and Brandon Powell.
Ooh.
Okay.
But they might be shopping Reagor, trying to get the most value.
And those points count when he gets traded back to Philly.
Actually, that's a good question. If a player gets
Yeah,
traded,
is it?
I knew Arif would run with that. It took him 3 seconds, but
I like that though. You still can't. It's just preseason.
I like
points, right?
it, yeah.
No matter the team.
Right.
I like
If,
that.
if he ends
Okay.
up on the Bucks, like he gets
you
his
should
points.
predict who the Vikings will trade for. Just draft that guy.
You just
Yeah.
Yannick Ngakoue coming back.
Is Tyler Johnson still bouncing around out there every time he gets released?
Yeah.
To the Vikings.
I don't think he's on a
Hometown
roster
boy.
right
Which
now.
running
I think
back? Which
yeah.
running back will Miami cut?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a Jeff Wilson angle?
So I don't have a wide receiver yet. So I would say arguably your wide receivers 4, 5, 6, and 7 are off the board. Now our guy Malik Knowles, his injury concerns me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with. I'm going to go Thayer Thomas.
It's a good pick. That could be a PPR monster
pick.
right there.
Yep.
I was hoping you'd go Blake Prohl.
He's never going to be healthy.
I know. That's why I wanted you to pick him.
Arif, you're
This is the part where this feels very poisoned. We're really thinking about volume shares on the third team. This rocks.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is
It's hilarious.
extremely degenerate behavior.
And this is a keeper league.
It is.
Dynasty.
All right, if sacks are worth
It's
as much
just
as
crazy
tackles,
enough to work.
if sacks are worth as much
No,
as
sacks are
tackles,
worth 2, right? Or are they worth 1?
Oh, I completely forgot
Sacks
about
were
these.
2.
Sacks are
sacks
2.
are worth 2. Okay.
Yep.
No, whatever. I'm gonna take Troy Dye.
Oh, first one off the board.
That feels
First
right,
defense.
doesn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, that probably would have been one of my top 2 defensive picks.
Troy Dye can't tackle anybody, though. Has he ever tackled a player? I don't know if he can tackle.
On accident,
He gets
yeah.
counted in the tackle stats. You know,
Right.
that's all I really care
Guys
about.
get bounced
Can he
into
stop
him.
someone? No.
Right.
But like, you know, he'll
Can
he'll
he
appear.
jump on the pile for half a
Yeah,
tackle?
for sure. He'll be the first one to a player when somebody else tackles him. That's all I need.
He gets
And
to the
maybe he
ball.
gets a pick.
I am
gloveless
once again
hands.
grateful that I'm not forced into picking like a de facto starter that probably won't play. I can get my tight end in Ben Sims and feel like I will at least have a guy. And then on the way back in the snake, I am going to take Ivan Pace. Try to go for a second. I was between Ivan Pace and William Kwenku.
Dirty.
But
That's
I'm
my guy.
going on the let's hope Ivan Pace gets a good blitz sack kind of move. Like let's see some playmaker out of him.
Wow.
And he's going to get a ton of reps too as a
I see it.
rookie.
Yeah, I see the vision.
Good pick.
Like it. Arif.
All right, so I have to pick a running back, right? That's what's left for me.
Or wide receiver.
Oh, yeah. Well, screw that.
I should share this.
You got to.
That's what I was saying, Sam. It's like, oh, you can figure it out. Like, Sam, I don't need you to have a list of players. I need you to have a list of who's on rosters.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Kamish.
Come on, man.
There we go.
Thanks. See, this is already useful.
Okay, so running
Well, now
back,
it's not.
receiver, tight end, defense.
There we go.
So Arif does need a running back.
Yeah, but I'm going to ignore that fact. So Thayer Thomas is gone, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll take Malik Knowles, I guess.
Man, Sam
Love
is
him.
sniping all my rookies.
You talked him up too much.
Yeah.
All right. Wide receiver
Eric
or
Mag,
defense?
still there.
I'm going to leave defense for last. Yeah, Mog, or I'm not doing Cephas. No, I'm going guys. I'm going Lucky Jackson. I'm going
Yeah.
Lucky Jackson.
I was
XFL
considering
superstar.
I was considering Lucky.
Well, they only have 4 safeties on the roster. I mean, even once you get to the second and third team, who's going to be playing all those snaps?
No, they got
Tell
Theo
us.
Jackson.
Oh, they got Theo. Okay, Theo. You know what? I'm going to take Andre Carter. Maybe he does something on that third team. Maybe he gets me a couple sacks. And then
So is Jay Ward officially listed as a corner or a safety?
on
Officially?
our lads,
I
he's
think-
the nickel.
Yeah, and on our lads, he's a nickel, but the Vikings
don't
are
know.
probably going to play him at safety.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
looking
good
this
point.
up. What letters he's got next to his name.
But
I
I'm going to
think
take
it's- I think
Andre
it's-
Carter, and then I guess default, I have to take the last remaining tight end outside of Hawkinson. Give me Josh Oliver.
Listed as a safety.
Got him. All right, that leaves defense for me. I'm going to go Luigi Villain. I think
Hey.
that there's a lot of
Preseason
sack
stud.
and tackle potential with Luigi.
Man, I took a lot of second team guys. That was a huge mistake. Oh well. Yeah, I guess I'm Alexander Madison.
I really wanted you to go fullback, man. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but maybe they're like, hey, we sucked at running the ball last year. Maybe we should actually use our running backs in preseason.
It's just all about that first opening drive, that one first drive. Can
Yeah,
Madison
that one
get that
drive,
one
you can
yard
get a
punt?
touchdown.
Can he catch 2 passes? Yeah.
I'll be happy.
There'll be one drive at the beginning of the first preseason game, and then he'll be on ice for the rest of it.
Just ghost.
He's not like.
Here's
he's
what I'm
not,
thinking.
He's got like a $3 million contract. Like, what are you protecting?
Right.
Just play him.
Your projected starter.
Yeah, and suddenly we care about that at running back? The word starter?
I know the Vikings will. I'm gonna do something potentially risky with my last pick here. I could go with like a Garrett Mogg or whatever, Blake
Like
Prohl,
Prohl,
or whatever, but
Addison.
I don't really feel great
Blake
about that.
Prohl. Blake Prohl.
No, I feel like as a rookie, they might want to get Addison some extra snaps. Maybe he won't be wide receiver 2 off the bat anyway, so maybe he'll play on the second team a little bit and play more than we think. I'm going to take Jordan Addison.
Wow.
Could be
Wow.
great. Mystery
That is-
relevant. Could be great.
That's gonna be catastrophic. That's gonna be catastrophic.
That's
I think.
crazy.
That's either going to be a goose egg every week or like
Yeah.
15 points.
I don't know if
50.1
there's a way
50
to
points
not
one
get a
week.
goose egg out of this, to not risk a goose egg out of this. Because like everybody else I
Yeah.
could take might not be on the team come the preseason.
Right.
Right. Well, okay. So wait, what's the roster cut schedule like? We might have like because
Is it after the second preseason game?
Does
I
it
thought
go
it was
right
like
to
75?
straight up
53
now.
now? Is it
I
just
thought
the
it
one
did,
roster cut?
but I don't know.
I think there's one cut.
Okay.
I think
There's
There's,
like
like,
one
the
cut of like
changes in,
5
like, the-
players, maybe.
Yeah, there's a cut of 5 players. That's right. Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out later. But the idea that somebody might not have a team by the time we get to the third preseason game is extremely funny to me.
I love it.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
All right. So
and I'll
from
be
here
honest, I
on-
didn't even really think that hard about who wouldn't be on the team.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't think about that at all. I just thought about it just now.
Yeah.
But, like, I love the idea that like Luke is left with just Jordan Addison heading into the third preseason game. And he's
Right.
like, man, I hope they play their first round rookie in the third preseason.
Right.
That would that would mean that they've cut like Ivan Pace and Kene Nwangwu. That would be an insane result, and I kind of want to just see that chaos.
Yeah, the idea that Kenny Nwangwu and Ivan Pace are like players 86 and 87 on the roster is also very funny.
Something very, very dark happened.
What the hell happened here? All right, so
Sam,
from here
this
on moving
rocked. That
forward,
was
we
very
got to
fun.
start keeping track here, and then
Yeah,
we
if
should do-
only we had done this back when they did like a real cut before the final preseason game, like 15
Yeah.
players. So like you'd have to like really do that math and be like, oh man, this guy might not be there for the fourth preseason game, but he'll play the hell out of the third preseason game. You know, back
this
when they
is
had
the
4.
only way to enhance these games too, to make them entertaining, because this coaching staff has made them so. Do you remember last year what a drudgery it was to watch these
It was
football
awful.
games?
It was
Like
awful.
Luke, we did the shows afterward, and I didn't know what to talk about. It's like, who are your winners from this game? Winners and losers? I don't know. It was like 14-11 final score. I don't know what happened.
If you
Now I'm gonna
want
know.
some good side
Remember when Mike Zimmer was
story
like
action.
undefeated in the preseason and
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
cared about that?
Oh,
That was like
yeah,
a thing.
Turn into like Belichick. Yeah.
Like
It was like 12-0.
years.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did research on this, and I was like, okay, let's look at the history of perfect preseason teams. Does it translate to more wins? And it was like half
No,
a win.
Detroit
Find the
was like
08 Lions.
undefeated in the preseason. The
Yeah,
year
that's like
they,
the famous one.
they
Yeah,
lost.
yeah. They won every preseason game, lost every regular season game.
Just give fans a glimmer of hope. Okay.
Bron, what were you going to say?
If you want some good roster bubble, something to some intrigue for the preseason, there's a whole bunch of that on today's Locked On Vikings.
Nice. Make sure to check that out. Also, check out Locked On NFL with Luke Braun, Ross Jackson on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Should be expecting Ron Johnson here in a moment. While we wait, let me bring this up from Luke Inman's question he asked me on Tuesday. And I think it's legit. I think it's a legit difficult answer. If you include return yards, which running back leads the Vikings in all-purpose yards this year? Now, I handicap this as Nwangwu getting about 800 free yards that no one else is getting. So does that make him the favorite, or is Madison still the favorite? Because Nwangwu, even if he adds like another 200 on offense, it's 1,000 yards. Is Madison going to have 1,000 yards?
It feels really hard to assign a 1,000-yard season to Madison, just because he won't be as much of a belt. Like he'll still be the main running back. He'll get the majority of snaps, but 1,000 yards feels like a lot to ask. I feel like I have to go with Wong Wu here, but yeah, it's not like a slam dunk or anything.
Wong Wu had 955 all-purpose yards last year. Oh man,
all-purpose or just
isn't that
return?
tough? Yeah. So even if he does nothing again on offense, if he has no role on offense at all, he's going to be right in the mix with the final two right at the end.
Assuming he makes
Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Hey, Luke, when you did your when we did the 50 the cooperative 53, Sam, what was that? The cooperative 53 where we all did our own position groups. You're like, well, I'm getting this guy because he's a special teamer. That's all he can do.
Najee Thompson.
Yeah,
Najee Thompson, a Matt Daniels crush. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like there's a couple of people whose only job on the roster is to be returners. Maybe they do beat out Kenny Wong Wu. I don't know that there's a 100% chance that Wong Wu makes it as the kick returner. He's a very good kick
for sure.
returner.
Absolutely. But there's definitely that question. I mean, he might be one of the best ones in the league, but that can fall away really fast.
Yeah, they just like Brandon Powell a lot. He'll do everything, right? Punt returns, kick returns,
right, especially if that's the only thing you do. But right now, Kenny Wong Wu is also snapping as RB2, right, Sam?
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Does this new kick return rule change affect the projection of how much? You got him pegged at about 800 this year.
It does.
How much is that going to get bumped down?
That's a good point.
Because it'll even if Wong Wu wants to return, right? It'll force balls into the end zone because the returns have been creeping back up. So I got the numbers on this. So the return percentage before they implemented the 25-yard touchback, the return percentage was something like 40%. And then they implemented that touchback and the return percentage dropped to 23. And it's been creeping back up. I think it's at 39% last year, the number of kickoffs that are returned. And the NFL was like, well, that ruins the whole point. So we're just going to make all of that touchback. For people who don't know, if you fair catch a kickoff return inside the 25, that turns into a touchback to the 25. That's the new rule that they passed. I think it's a provisional rule for this year because special teams coaches hated it so much that they weren't going to make it a rule this year. Mm-hmm. But that is important. There's going to be dramatically fewer returns. The Vikings in particular liked to take advantage of the short kickoff. They actually were one of the league leaders in opponent kickoff field position because they would kick it to the 2 and force a return, and then they would stop it before the 25. But now there's no reason to kick it short because you could just fair catch it, and that'll bring it to the 25. So you might as well just boot it out of the back of the end zone. Either way, a 10 more touchbacks, a bunch of fewer returns. This might even cut Wong Wu's. Good point, Luke. I didn't even think about this. This might cut Wong Wu's kickoff return yardage in half, honestly.
Right.
Because remember, it went from 41 to 24.
His value just in general, right? I know sounds like he's taking RB2 reps right now, but a lot can change once we get to training camp or preseason. Yeah. But
anyway, I'm putting all my chips in on Dwayne McBride, obviously.
Let's go.
Well, Spinman took Chandler. So we've got
I'll take
maybe
Jeff Wilson.
McBride or not. You'll take who?
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
We'll say the Dolphins signed Dalvin Cook. Jeff Wilson's the odd man out. He ends up joining the Vikings on cutdown day, becomes RB1.
What a crazy roster that the Dolphins would have. The Vikings, whatever. That's a pretty normal Vikings roster.
Yeah.
Well, if they get Dalvin, they're also getting D-Hop. That's what I heard.
Yeah, right, because they're a duo, right?
Oh, yeah, package deal.
Package deal. They're each going to take less money so they can play with each other.
How did that come out? Why?
Hey, Dalvin Cook needs some excuse to take less money than he thought. He's got to save face.
But who put out a package deal story out there anyway? I just started seeing it a bunch.
Dalvin went on Schefter's podcast.
Really?
Yeah, he said it on Schefter's podcast.
Does D-Hop know? Did he inform Nuke? This is like when I was in high school and someone told me they were my girlfriend. It worked out, but it's just like
I gotta hear that story.
Well, it's fine. We dated.
It's not.
I mean, apparently, right?
Legally, we dated.
Sources tell me.
Mom, I'm going
to
prom. Who would know
better than her? I mean, come on.
Yeah, unassailable source, first-hand information.
Funny.
I just like I like the idea of Nuke just picking up getting a bunch of texts wait, we are?
We are?
I mean, I don't dislike
Okay.
the guy, but
Right.
it's not like New England's going to sign him.
So when you sign with Arizona, I have to go back to Arizona. Great. I didn't say
What is New England going to sign Dalvin Cook? Is that happening? Come on.
right.
I'm doing the pre-Ron Johnson tap dance right now and looking up ESPN stories. So ESPN Field Yates wrote, one move every team should make before the season. Who wants to hazard a guess what the Minnesota Vikings suggested move is?
Extend Justin Jefferson.
Or extend Danielle Hunter, but yeah, along those lines.
Wait, there was a
Luke, you
Florio
wanna guess?
story this morning that they might wait on Justin Jefferson. I didn't read it. I just saw the headline and decided not to.
I also did not read
He's
it,
insane.
but I think I have to at some point to do my job.
Yeah,
Why?
I watched a Rich Eisen clip today. He had a top five,
I don't
the
read
top
the Florio
five
thing.
most under the radar players with the most pressure. So obviously, like Aaron Rodgers, obviously has a lot of pressure, but that's not like under the radar. Number 5 was Sam Howell. Number 4 was Bijan Robinson. Not so much just for the Falcons, but he's got a lot of pressure just to bring value back to the running back position
I
when
just
you're
don't
drafting
know.
the top 10. Number 3 was Colt McCoy with Arizona. This is his time to shine. And number 2 was Matt Stafford. Does anyone want to guess who number 1 was?
Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, if Bijan Robinson's on the list, Jahmyr Gibbs should be higher than him.
It was
But the reason that you're bringing this up might be Justin Jefferson or something like that.
It wasn't JJ. It was in the division.
TJ Hawkinson? Oh, in the division.
It was in the
Not Jordan Love. That's not under the radar at all.
It was Jordan Love.
That's not under the radar. That's
Yeah,
sorry.
he put
Sorry,
a lot
Eisen.
of the spotlight on. Everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers in New York, all this.
Ton of
But-
this is the Sam Howell pick was good. I think it was a great way to give us a characterization of what that list is. I don't know if I agree with the Bijan Robinson one, but if you put Jahmyr Gibbs there instead, that'd be fine. So that's fine with me. That's not an under the radar pressure story. That's a very obvious pressure story to me. Hawkins
All
is
right,
a
I'll
decent
tell him.
one, though.
I'll let
Yeah,
Rich know.
no, thank you.
What you say?
Anyway, Sam, you were saying
I mean, you
Well,
guys got it.
anyways.
Extend Justin Jefferson was the move. That was the
okay.
suggested move.
What was the
What?
other NFC North?
Yeah, what were the other 3?
Yeah, I got you.
Find a quarterback in Chicago, is that?
Green Bay sign a veteran pass catcher.
I was going
Lions.
to end with thrower. That would have been awesome. Sign a veteran pass thrower.
Perfect.
sign competition.
Lions extend Jonah Jackson, guard.
Oh, that's
Okay.
kind of talk about under the radar.
That's
Yeah.
a guy.
I mean, he's good.
That's under the radar. Sure.
He is good.
Wait, was
Bears
this sold
acquire an
as
edge.
an under the radar thing? The Vikings should do is extend
No,
this?
we're crossing streams at this point.
Oh, okay.
This is just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one thing every team needs to do before the season starts. I think was the article,
Mhm.
right?
And who wrote this?
Field Yates.
Okay.
Jonah
Talk to
Jackson.
him.
Ron Johnson's in the room, just waiting for him to get settled. There was also a really good Brad Spielberger graphic I saw where he put like top average contracts by position over the last 12 years, and all of them have a very nice linear increase from year to year. Running back flat, the one
Yeah.
position.
We'll
All
never
right,
get
Ron
off track
Johnson
again.
joins us now on the Minnesota Football Party. He's at 3 Ron Johnson. He hosts the Ron Johnson Show Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Roundtable on Friday. Ron, how you doing today?
I'm good. Just heard some what was that submarine conversation between Arif and Luke. So
Yeah.
very well educated now in billionaires and being golf balls. So I'm very, very educated.
Jesus.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, what better fate than to turn into what you love?
The one thing I will say
Oh my
about the
God.
submarines, though, and these are real people. I don't even know if this is real. This could be a hoax for all we know. But the memes have been very funny. Like the fact
I know,
that they keep
right?
sending.
I feel so bad.
It's
I
because
know
it's
everybody
dark.
keeps
So
sending the
funny.
Little Mermaid down there, talking about when the Little Mermaid gets down there. And then people are saying they're hanging out with SpongeBob down there. I mean, it's just a bunch of that.
I've seen people like, because there's like the depth chart thing that you can find on the web, like what's the deepest any of these creatures have been found, and like people have been like, yeah, we got to send elephant seals after the sub.
Yeah, it's amazing what people have come up with. I didn't even really
That
like think it
carpet
was
with, like,
real
Saddam
until now. I
Hussein.
know. Yeah, I mean, they're saying the pilot of the sub is like the granddaughter or grandson of the two people from the original Titanic that died. Like,
Yep, I saw that.
So
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know. Like maybe he wanted to go down there to find them. I have no idea what's going on. Like this is crazy. It's getting real crazy. What you got for me football wise, fellas? What we got?
Yeah, you know what else is crazy? There was a
Segment called
Packers
Sink or
guy
Swim.
on Twitter. Packers guy on Twitter. It was not Peter Bukowski, Ron. It was not Peter Bukowski.
Are we sure that's not his burner account though? That could
Might
be
be his
not
burner
sure.
account.
We're not sure.
But there was a
I'm pretty
claim
sure he
made
engaged
that
with it.
and he probably agreed with it. Christian Watson having more potential than Justin Jefferson.
The phrase he used was higher ceiling. Let's be
correct.
completely
Higher ceiling. And I think
He
the
would
problem
go
is
on later to say
Green
more
Bay-
potential. To be fair,
Is that what he said? More potential?
He
I
later
believe
said more
at-
potential,
at
but the
some
initial
point over
tweet
2
said
days
higher
of
ceiling.
arguing in this, he said both.
Yeah, either way, he's dumb. Here's why. Nothing against, he's probably a smart person, but this is a dumb take. And I get it. You're getting a lot of clicks. It's all about the sensationalism of sports now, and everybody wants to be famous by saying something stupid. And so here's the reason why it's stupid. One, in Green Bay, I'm guessing he lives somewhere that doesn't have a ceiling. So he doesn't even understand what a ceiling is. And so, you know, for whatever barn or wherever he's at, he just doesn't understand ceilings. And so when I think about the ceiling, which means this is the highest you can go, Justin Jefferson actually doesn't have one. So Christian Watson's ceiling can't be higher than Justin Jefferson's because Justin Jefferson is a unicorn that doesn't really have a ceiling. Like we haven't seen the full potential of what Justin Jefferson can be. We kind of know what Christian Watson is. And if he ever brings up Randy Moss in the same breath of Christian Watson,
That was a lot.
he should be put in front of a firing squad. Like
That was a
something has to
lot.
happen. Like he should be condemned to life in prison because that is criminal. Like you cannot put Randy Moss's name in the same breath with anybody besides Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens at this moment. That's the only two people that deserve to be in that Randy Moss conversation is Jerry Rice and what's his name? Terrell Owens. And then from there, you can kind of climb and throw some other people up there that have been great. Calvin Johnson, we never saw his full potential. Maybe he would have been the best ever, which probably, but you just can't do that. You can't ever say Christian Watson reminds you of Randy Moss because he doesn't. Like it doesn't equate to the same math. Like the math ain't mathing, as the kids say. Like it don't add up. And so I understand his thought. He's saying that like we know what Justin Jefferson is, and that's as best he's going to be. Well, the best he's going to be is the best. Like I feel like the Kobe Bryant commercial where, you know, Kobe Bryant is doing the Kobe system with Kanye West. And he's like, I want you to sell more records. He said, but I went double, triple platinum. I went 10 times. I went diamond. He was like, more records. He was like, but I'm the best. He was like, you're welcome. Like that's literally where Justin Jefferson is. Like he's already gone past the Kobe pinnacle and now he's at the top of the top. It's like, what else can he do? Like when you're so good, there's nothing else you can see anybody doing better. But the problem is Christian Watson will never do what Justin Jefferson did. So I don't even know why we're having this conversation. Like he's about to do something before anybody's been the age of 25, which is Randy Moss right now, in like 600 yards. Like he only has a couple games to pass Randy Moss before he turns 25. So, I mean, knock on wood, Barney doesn't get hurt. Like Justin Jefferson is heading towards a level that we haven't actually seen. Like it reminds me of Fantastic Four. And I know Luke's never seen this movie, or not Luke, sorry, Sam. Sam's never unnecessary bullet at Luke.
Not many people have seen Fantastic Four.
Hold up, calm down. Fantastic Four is it's a struggling franchise, but they're trying to figure it out. Jessica Alba, thank you. Jessica Alba. And if you remember that one,
an American classic.
When Johnny whatever Blaze, he was like, man, what are you trying to do? He's like, keep going. And he was like, Supernova's next. You know, like that's where we're at with Justin Jefferson. Like we don't know how hot he can get, but the next step is Supernova for Justin Jefferson. Christian Watson,
say he has plumbed the depths of his talent. That
like he's like
you couldn't go any deeper, as it were. The pressures,
unless he's in the Titanic submarine, like he can't go any deeper with his talent. Like, and so that's where I go with that. Like I'm not going to disrespect Christian Watson because I think he is going to be a good receiver. I think he's going to be really good. But he's not heading towards Supernova. And I think that's the difference between him and Justin Jefferson.
Hey, Ron, we were just talking about Rich Eisen. He unveiled his top 5 most under-the-radar players with the most pressure in the NFL. So not guys like Rodgers and Russell Wilson, et cetera, because they already get so much attention. He had guys like Sam Howell, Bijan Robinson, Colt McCoy. So my question, which Vikings player has the most pressure on the team that's maybe not getting the same attention or spotlight as a Kirk Cousins or Justin Jefferson, for example?
I think KJ Osborne. I think with Jordan Addison stepping into that building, I think KJ Osborne has a lot of under the radar pressure. Like I think KJ Osborne can be a big piece of this offense as a receiver too. But just like Justin Jefferson when he was behind BC Johnson, if KJ Osborne, and I don't think KJ Osborne and BC Johnson are the same receiver, but if he has any slip ups or any like question marks, I think the first thought is, man, this is our first round pick. Let's throw him in there and see what we get with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison in there. I do feel like they're going to go 11 personnel a lot, which is 3 receivers. So I think we'll see all 3 on the field. But I think KJ Osborne secretly has a lot of pressure because where does he end up? Like we know Jordan Addison will be under a rookie deal for a couple years. We know Justin Jefferson wants a mega deal. So then KJ Osborne, are you willing to take like a Jake Reed type of contract type of role, knowing you're with Randy Moss and Chris Carter? Not saying Jordan Addison's there, but Justin Jefferson definitely is either going to be Moss or Carter. But can KJ Osborne at least, fill in and be Adam Thielen in this? And I think that's the key. I think KJ Osborne, with Adam Thielen's departure, KJ Osborne is under the most pressure and he's under the radar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, I don't really have like much to add. I was really like entranced by this Christian Watson conversation, but
you're distracted by the sub.
Okay, I was also distracted by the submarine. Hey, how about this? What may be the best metaphor for a bunch of, like in the NFL right now, any team, doesn't have to be the Vikings, what team is acting most like a group of underprepared billionaires overpaying to enter a carbon fiber submersible, unprepared to go where it needs to go?
I don't think any NFL owner is that dumb. I
now
really
that Snyder's out, no. But.
Yeah, I don't think any owner is that dumb. But if I were to pick one, he's on his way out the door, I would have said Daniel Snyder, because I feel like Daniel Snyder never really had a true plan. Like him billing his own organization $4 to $5 million to put his own logo on his own plane is got to be insider trading to the biggest, like, or not insider trading, but whatever, mismanagement of funds.
Yeah.
Fraud. Yeah. Like to pay yourself $4.5 to $5 million from your team's money they earned with ticket sales so that you don't have to claim it as money for the organization, but personal money. So your other owners can't get pieces of that $4 to $5 million a year. Like that to me alone seems like, whoa, how many years has it been? Like, has he walked away with $40 million cash without other owners knowing? So that's the only one, which I'm very excited to see Magic Johnson get his hands on the Washington Commanders. Cause I feel like from a marketing standpoint, you think about Johnson Theaters, you think about Starbucks that Magic Johnson's been a part of. Like he's always been on the forefront of trying to figure out ways to, and you're already in DC. Like DC already is hungry for like a good product. They had it way back when with Clinton Portis and Sean Taylor and all those guys.
Well, at one point it was the highest valued franchise in the NFL, right behind the Cowboys. It was the second highest.
No, and I think they can get back there. I mean, their stadium had a collapse due to heavy rain. You have to know something's wrong. Like the water was dripping on fans. Part of it collapsed. There was like the
water pressure was too much.
Yeah, like didn't the stands fall there too? Wasn't that the same stadium where the stands fell on the Jalen Hurts?
Almost fell on Jalen Hurts. Yeah,
so just a lot of that little stuff that I think Magic Johnson, when you look at the LA Dodgers and what he comes in as a player first type of owner. He's gonna advise the other owners within the organization of what matters most to players. He's Magic Johnson. So, when it comes to free agents, maybe he'll be more involved. Like Daniel Snyder, nothing against him, but if Magic Johnson gets on a jet, brings you out on this super, super mega yacht that we all saw him go across the world in, doing his terrible workouts, like his workouts are terrible. But what free agent is going to say no to that? Like, it's like, do I want to go play for Atlanta Falcons or do I want to go hang out with Magic Johnson and maybe do something special in Washington, D.C.? I think Magic Johnson's gonna, I think he's gonna be able to lure some of these, like, especially younger guys that are celebrity fans of guys like Magic Johnson, even though they've never seen him play, because same like Michael Jordan, but they're still wearing the Jordan shoe. So I would say it would have been Daniel Snyder, but he's out the door. The rest of these owners, man, I do feel like now the only thing all of them are screwing up on, and we don't know what that vote was this double Thursday night football crap. Like, I don't feel like any of them have a plan for that. But maybe they do, and we just don't know. I think the plan needs to be this season needs to be like 20, what is that math? 22 weeks long. Because if you give them 22 weeks, you only have 2 preseason games. You have these dual practices like the Vikings are going to do. You have a week with two different teams. That gives you a week of practicing against another team, which is the equivalent to 4 preseason games. And then you start the season with the Thursday night games. You plug in an extra buys. So 22 weeks gives you a Thursday, and then you can rest all the way to the next Sunday. And then if you play on a Sunday and you're going to play Thursday, you get to rest all the way to the next Thursday. And you put a gap out there. Maybe it's less games on TV during the weeks, but at least those Thursday games aren't like back-to-back where you're having 4 days rest and so on and so forth, or 5 days rest. I think that's the only thing all the owners to me have missed on.
Ron, there's this morning, there was a Florio article that might just be speculation, but he does say that there is plenty of noise that the Vikings will wait to extend Jefferson, essentially saying that, the holdout rules don't advantage players enough. You can call the bluff and this kind of whole thing about like the ramifications of that. So I guess, do you believe that there's any chance that the Vikings would drag their feet? And how do you see that kind of thing playing out? Or is this just, I don't know, some bluster that one side or the other will put out during a negotiation to try to drive the price up $1 or down $1?
Here's where I go with guys like Florio. Love him. He's a Minnesota Vikings. He's grown up with as a Minnesota Vikings fan, blah, blah. If you go back to the video, I don't know if you guys saw Lamar Jackson's draft year of the Saints. Somebody just tweeted and said, this is why I have trust issues, or maybe Instagram reel. Somebody said, this is why I have trust issues. And it's all the people in the ESPN panel talking about the Saints making the move to get to number 14. I don't know if you guys remember this. Lamar Jackson's year in the draft. When they moved to number 14, Lamar Jackson's year, go back and watch the video. Everybody on the panel said, we talked to Sean Payton. He's going to get Lamar Jackson. Here's the future of the Saints offense. Lamar Jackson, blah, blah, Lamar Jackson. Now, granted, if the Saints had made that move, they probably would be a lot better organization because they would have moved on from Drew Brees, and then they would have Lamar Jackson waiting in the wings to go with Alvin Kamara. Oh, my goodness. Alvin Kamara, Lamar Jackson in the same backfield with Mark Ingram, that would have been gross. Like that would have been, and Mike Thomas, because he probably would have showed up for this. That would have been scary. That would have been scary. Like that's a scary
moved up
offense.
for Davenport that year.
They moved up for Marcus Davenport, who is now a Minnesota Viking, right?
All right, great.
So we might need to ask him about that. Sam,
what do you,
get him on the Ron Johnson show,
almost being Lamar Jackson? How does that
almost being Lamar?
Do you think those two have talked about it? That would to be a fly on the wall.
Right. But they moved up to get Marcus Davenport. All the guys on the ESPN panel said, whoa, I guess we were all wrong and we were lied to. This is what I'm talking about. So a lot of people throw stuff out to the media because they know they want to throw a breadcrumb out to get you guys looking. And then what happened to Lamar Jackson? Everybody thought the Saints were going to draft him. So what did everybody else do? Start preparing their board for somebody else. Mm-hmm. They took Marcus Davenport. All the dominoes got screwed because they're like, oh, crap, they didn't take – well, we already said we're going to do this. We're already trading with them. We're already doing this. And then Lamar Jackson drops to 32, I think, to the Ravens.
Like draft day.
It's just like draft day. And so when you understand Florio, somebody gave him that intel. I think what they're trying to do is prepare everybody for what could happen. Also, maybe his agent is trying to push the Vikings to not do that because it could be true. And he's trying to push the Vikings to hear, after that comes out, let's hear what the media say or what the people say and what Justin Jefferson does. Or maybe the Vikings threw it out there. Just say, let's see what happens if we were to do this. Let's throw it out there to Florio and then let's see what happens with the rest of the world. Right. I always think, man, this is chess, not checkers. These owners, these GMs, they get paid a lot of money to be smart, especially a guy like Kwesi. My guess is they've talked to Justin and his agent. They've told him exactly what they want to offer him, and they told him when they want to offer it to him. Other than that, I think the rest of it is just noise. Stephon Diggs, that has a little bit more traction with the Buffalo Bills because everybody's lying about the problem. And Stephon Diggs is saying, y'all go ahead and cap if that makes you happy, big dog. So something there is different. With the Vikings, Justin Jefferson showed up for camp. He practiced. He did everything he's supposed to do. In my opinion, I think, and then there's a rumor now saying, not rumor, there's a whatever. Somebody said Stephon Diggs was in the building on Tuesday, allegedly, and they're saying he wasn't. So again,
sorry, they're saying he wasn't? Because I thought it was basically confirmed that he was because he had to be there for the pre-mini camp medical check.
Right. So they're saying he was there, but then originally, remember, they said he didn't show up. So right. So I think now they're backtracking, trying to say, oh, well, he didn't come out to practice. Well, that's not the same thing. He didn't have to come out to practice. So again, and that's why he said, go ahead and cap. I was there. We already know what the problem is. Why are we talking about it like this? So I think there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown out to the media to get a reaction. And then
I think Sean McDermott has handled it, though. I will say that.
Who did?
I think Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
That first day, he should
saying he's concerned. Yeah.
No,
he is.
It's a personal matter. He's excused. let's move on. And
Right. Unless it's
non-story.
Unless it's mental health, because we do know that is a part two of this, because we know Stephon Diggs keeps posting tweets.
That's what it like sounded like.
Yeah,
but like if I'm going through a mental health crisis, I don't want the person I'm confiding to
tell people.
Correct. To like
exactly.
Yeah.
Just say it's an internal matter. Yeah, just like, we're gonna figure this out. But yeah, he tried to say on his Instagram, like, because he did a photo shoot and he said, I'm in my happy place or in a place of zen. So he's trying to, and he's doing modeling, he's traveling. So maybe he's saying that's what I'm happiest, and maybe football doesn't make him happy anymore. We know that is the case for players that just quit. Like, look at Eddie George, look at Barry Sanders, look at Calvin Johnson. They were like, man, look, this is not fun. You guys are killing me with this. I'm done. So that is not say Stephon Diggs is going to do that, but I mean, if he does, then we have the answer. But he is in a place of zen doing the football camp he just did for kids in his area, Maryland. There's a lot of stuff he's still doing, and he's very active on social media. So clearly there's something else going on there. But I don't think Justin Jefferson and the Vikings are there. I just think Florio wants to throw it out to see what would happen. Throw spaghetti up against the wall, see if it sticks.
Roundtable tomorrow with Ron Johnson, Reggie Wilson, Luke Inman, and myself. More controversial topics will be discussed there. Ron, we're up against the clock. You're recording some big interviews for your show coming up. Should we leave people in suspense? How about this? There's a Vikings position coach that's getting interviewed. There's a Vikings commentator that's getting interviewed. Some good stuff coming for next week.
Yep. Yeah. Sports analysts for NBC is coming on. We got the Vikings coach and the coach. I'll say this: he coaches some guys that were thinking about trading or maybe being here. Like, I mean, it's a coach that's worth the interview. And then also again, one of the Vikings commentators, Vikings Game Day Live host as well, going to join us. And then Dontarius Thomas, former Vikings outside. I think he was outside linebacker, but Dontarius Thomas is going to join us. Michael Floyd. We had so many interviews, we couldn't even get Michael Floyd in this week, but I told him Floyd we'll get him in like 2 weeks. So Michael Floyd's going to join us as well, talk about his career, what's going on with him. Maybe we'll get into some serious stuff. Maybe we won't, but it's some good stuff coming for this summer. We know without football, basketball, you only got to deal with baseball, and the Twins hurt your feelings. So just come over to the Ron Johnson Show for some feel-good moments.
Good stuff, Ron. Thanks for joining as always. Talk to you soon.
No, thank you.
He's at 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter. Covered a lot of ground today. We've got preseason fantasy teams drafted. We settled the Watson versus Jefferson discussion and decided which running back's going to have the most all-purpose yards this year. Luke, Arif, thank you so much for your contributions. Comment down below. Christian Watson, Justin Jefferson.
Who would you rather have?
How big is the gap?
Who would you rather have?
And which running back is going to have?
Then we'll ask again once Jefferson gets paid, and watch the answers be super brain dead.
Oh. Yeah, I would expect nothing less.
Because then
check out Locked On Vikings. Check out Pro Football Network. Check out the NFL Draft Buzz newsletter. Thanks for watching and listening, everyone. Today, we're free and available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Talk to you tomorrow on the Roundtable.